With the recent killing of Ahmaud Arbery, I know a lot of people are wondering, when are they going to stop killing our black boys? Stop fucking killing our mother black boys. Fuck! I'm your host, LoveNafi, and you're watching Diaspora Diary. Check it out. So in this episode of Diaspora Diary, we're going to answer that question. How do we raise our black boys on dealing with the police? We're going to see what it's like in the day of a young boy named Tyrone. And we're also going to reflect on all the lives lost this past decade in our Black Love segment. Please stay with me. So this episode was really inspired by a conversation I was having with my husband on how to raise a black child. I mean, we all have seen these films on Netflix, you know, Ava DuVernay's When They See Us, which I couldn't even watch, by the way. Like, I really couldn't even get through the first 5 minutes, and I still haven't watched it today, even though I love Ava. It just hit close to home for me, and I didn't realize until after I had a child how much this could potentially affect my life. And then obviously there was American Son, and not to mention all the actual real life cases that have happened over the past decade. So when it comes to parenting, when it comes to black parenting, I'm trying to really decide between, do I teach my son to, you know, focus on his dignity, his pride, and to be free and exercising his rights? Or do I teach him that this is about survival, that, you know, a police encounter is about surviving the encounter, and knowing how to deal with the police is actually a survival skill. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, you're in those situations where, number one, you know, you could be really disobedient. Like some kids, they're teenagers, they don't really, you know, they're conflicted in a lot of ways on impulse and how to choose the right decision or handle the situation with the most tact. So yeah, they may be disrespectful or they may question. And then you have the other side of people who, quite frankly, this is the majority, they're just completely shocked. They're shocked when a police, you know, stops them. They're trying to avoid everything and they do everything right, and still they end up in these horrible situations. So it really, really is important to have this conversation with your family, with your children, on when you get stopped by the police, what do you do? Dear Diary. Dear Diary, should I be scared to let my black boy out the house? Every day he grows, I start to think about what he can encounter on the outside. How he might run into trouble based on how others perceive him. I trust in God, but sometimes I still have fears and anxieties about raising my black child. I don't want him to be a part of that percent that gets beaten up, becomes part of the school to prison pipeline, wrongfully accused, or even worse, shot dead. How should I teach my black boy how to deal with the police? What should I do? I do want to take this time to really reflect on Ahmaud Arbery, who is the most recent victim to these horrible police, or not even police encounter in this case, just a regular other human being shot this man dead. And for me, it's just kind of like, you're running, okay? You're running, you're exercising. This man was 25 years old. He played football. He went to school. He was not a gangbanger or drug dealer. He didn't have a weapon on him. So for someone, another human being, to just shoot you on your run and say that you acted in self-defense or whatever is just absolutely absurd and ridiculous. A lot of these cases are that absurd. I mean, I have a brother, I have a son, I have a husband, and all these people could be potentially, God forbid, targets. And how do you deal with that? How do you resolve that in your mind? Do you wake up every day in fear? Okay, is he going to come back? So this past week, I actually got a chance to sit down with a young boy named Tyrone, and he had the chance to show me what it was like in the day of a black boy, from just playing video games to getting girls and just talking about what his life is like. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, man? What's your name?
What's up, man? My name's Tyrone. I'm just chilling.
Oh, yeah? What you been up to, man? What school you go to?
Man, I go to Frederick Douglass High School.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in 11th grade. Waves in for these girls. Gotta get the waves in for these girls. Yeah. Gotta get the waves in for these girls. How look?
So, to answer the question, because I know a lot of people are wondering, so what are some of the tools that we can bring? What can we do? Well, I think people need to teach their kids to know their rights. I'm not an expert by any means on law. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a JD. But I think that people need to tell kids, okay, here's your rights. This is what should happen in a police encounter. And then review with them what could go wrong. When I'm actually counseling people on health and different issues, a lot of ways I tell people to teach their kids is to do what's called role play or reenactment. And it sounds silly and it sounds like you're being extra, but really when you start to role play these situations with your kids and introduce these hypotheticals, then it starts to become reality, and it kind of imprints in their mind, okay, I ran through these different scenarios. These are the potential things that could happen. This is what could worsen. And then maybe in some way they're prepared and know what to do. Another thing that I think can be very, very helpful when dealing with the police is just following instructions. This sounds very, very weird, but I think that a lot of the times what really gets people caught up is that they don't follow instructions. And I know that sometimes it's not even the police who stop you and ask you all these questions, and that unfortunate that we get stopped by random people. And a lot of these cases actually weren't police that actually shot the lost son. It's just regular citizens who think that they have that entitlement to do things on society's behalf, and they're totally wrong. But even in those instances, you know, it's tough, right? Like, you don't want your child to be instigatory and inciting and really kind of get anger riled up, but people have to understand we have just so much in general. I think black people, we have so much just angst inside of us already because of all the injustice that we see on a daily basis, that sometimes it all comes out in that one encounter. And then you're like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, I know me, like, I'm ready to look if you book. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have someone come up to me talking BS, I know that I'm gonna have to just, right? Because at these days, you don't even know who has a gun. That is the scary thing. You don't know who has a gun, who has a weapon, who's just gonna pull it out and shoot you. You just don't know. So I think that we just really have to do better due diligence and, you know, being assertive, but not being arrogant. No one should be arrogant. So I had the chance to actually speak to some law enforcement and kind of go over some tips on what is the best way to teach your child to actually behave in a police encounter. So one tip was to pretty much avoid all sudden movement. So just don't be acting all jerky and things like that. Just try to be calm, cool, and collected. Another high yield tip was to approach the encounter as if you were talking to a respected adult in your family. I know that sounds weird in some ways, but really I think when you approach the encounter with respect, you can really avoid a lot of mishap. Another smart tip was to try to refrain from any sarcasm or any smart remarks that might trigger someone to do something that they really shouldn't have otherwise. And lastly, just always make eye contact. I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but really when you look someone in the eye and you are focused on them, they become focused on you, and hopefully that prevents them from thinking that you're hiding something or doing something wrong.
So what you do during this time to keep yourself entertained? You know, you got video games or anything like that?
Dog, my PlayStation broke last week, so I don't even got no video games right now, man. And then, you know, my mom's be on the computer, so I can't even play no games right now, man.
Dang, that must suck, bro.
And itching. Try to go get my girl.
So let's take a moment to talk about Black parenting, because I know a lot of people are wondering, what do I actually teach my kids when dealing with this type of issue? So I think the first thing that we need to do is just make sure that your kids stay out of trouble. In this day and age, it's really easy to basically be ignorant and not really know what's going on in their day-to-day lives. So you need to know your kids, know their friends, and really don't have them keep secrets from you. I know that's hard to say, but allow them to feel free to come to you, so that way you know who their friends are and you know who they're hanging around, so it doesn't pop up one day that they're hanging around, you know, Johnny, who has a record, and now he's associated with that person. I think a lot of the times when these issues come up, when parents don't know their kids or who they're hanging around, is because there's a rift and there's a disconnect between parents and their children, so they don't understand what's going on in their children's lives. Empower them to understand that if they ever feel uncomfortable in the situation, that they can call their parents or they can call for legal support. I mean, obviously there are situations, especially in more marginalized neighborhoods, where these opportunities may not exist, right? Or perhaps they're already getting beaten down to the ground before they even have a chance to call anyone. But in situations where there is that time, let them know, call me. Don't speak to anyone without having them acknowledge the fact that, hey, you're a child, you're a kid, and you need an adult to help you navigate the situation.
What's that, Snapchat, Instagram?
Nah, this Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a couple girls on this joint, but this shorty right here, yo, she hot, yo, for real. And she a doctor.
Oh yeah, what's
She
that?
a doctor. This my friend's sister.
Oh, word?
Yeah, her name Nafi. Yeah, I was trying to get her to be my doctor, but she was faking for real. Yeah, she hot though. Ain't she hot? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and DM her right now. Hold up. Let me DM her right now.
I do want to take the time to recap all the young men who have lost their lives over this last decade. I mean, it really is truly unbelievable how many lives were lost to just horrible police encounters that went wrong and gun violence. It's not easy. I'm pretty sure these parents just wake up every day wondering, like, what do I do? You know, how to move on. I pray that they find peace in their hearts, and I pray that none of us who are out there have to experience those things. Let's take a second for Botham Jean, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Philando Castile, Ahmaud Arbery, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Alton Sterling, Samir Rice, Jordan Davis, and honestly, several more. According to an article from News One, there have been roughly over 77 police-related shootings of Black men over the last decades. Let that sink in.
What kind of music you like? You listen to rap music?
Man, yeah, right now I'm feeling Lil Uzi Rip, Lil Trippy Red, Lil Roddy Rock,
There must be some new schools that y'all on him for.
Yeah, man, they hot right now. That's all, man. We was supposed to go to the Broccoli City Festival, but man, she got canceled.
Oh man, that sucks. That's for you praying, bro. Oh, stay safe, man.
You don't even know.
I'm climbing trees. They don't want you in double G's. They don't want you in AMG. Mama don't want me in these streets. The hustle don't want me to get no sleep. My bitch don't want me to fuck her roommate. It ain't us if it ain't her fleet. They don't want you to rock bling bling. They don't want you to ride in foreigns. Don't want you to have endorsements.
So Tyrone, man, what you want to tell the black young boys growing up in society?
You know what, man? Just be you, man. Just be you. We boys out here, we living, we smart, we educated. We just trying to live life and be free.
Why you trying to sound like you gangster though?
I mean, I'm from B-Town. B-Town, stand up. B-Town, stand up. Anyways, dawg, for real. All the black boys out there, you my brother, I love you. Stop killing us.
Guys, it really saddens me to leave you, but if you haven't subscribed already, that's a problem. Because I didn't told you to subscribe. To all the black men out there, all the black boys, black men, I just want to say, we love you. If you really enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, and share with your family and friends and get this conversation started. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you guys, creating community, and it really would mean a lot for you to become part of my YouTube family and to subscribe to my channel. And as always, you can find me on all social media platforms at love_Nafi. It's been a pleasure, you guys. I love you. Bye-bye.